it's a horror film, but you don't actually see the creatures until quite near the end.
Right.
You know, I hear you got a note, quite an interesting note from a pal of yours that said, "Don't worry about the creatures."
Drew Goddard, who's a great friend of mine, he said a couple things, many things to me that were amazing. He was actually the only person who read the script before I went shooting, and he said, my first bit of advice when I gave him the script, he said, the script's great. First bit of advice, start creating the creature now, because it won't be the third version, it won't be the fifth version, it'll be like the 12th or 18th version of the creature. And I think he was dead on. It was like our 12th version of the creature. And then the other thing that we talked about was he just said, I'm so happy you're not showing the creatures till the end of the movie. And obviously I learned that from any great horror movie. For me, I wanted this movie to have a very throwback feel. So even though I'd never watched horror as a kid growing up, I certainly watched everything in preparation for this. But I did see Alien, and I did see Jaws, and I did see all of Hitchcock stuff and Rosemary's Baby, and there was something about the tension of not knowing what was coming and not seeing. And I remember telling my mom I was going to do brief interviews and was pitching it to her. And there's a very graphic scene that someone retells this, and she said, please don't show the scene. And she said, just remember, my imagination is always 10 times scarier than anything you can write or show. And I thought, wow, that's actually quite like poignant and brilliant. And then I said, don't give me notes. And we moved on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it was always about the tension of not seeing them, and the idea of them was scarier than actually seeing them.
And a fantastic deaf actress, Millie Simmons.
Oh my God.
How important was that?
Well, it was non-negotiable for me. For the first, I think it was the first phone call I made to Paramount when we were pitching my take on it. I just said, I have to cast a deaf actress for every reason, not just for the reasons that are pretty obvious, which is you know, a great performance and a much more organic performance, but also I wanted a partner in crime. I wanted someone to walk me through what her existence was, what her life was, what, you know, everyone else in her family can hear. And so I said, how does that feel? Do you feel left out? Do you feel that it affects you? And she was, I mean, to say that she's special is the biggest understatement in the world. Emily and I had the same take on Millie, which was, we genuinely feel that she's not from here. And it sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. We really believe she's an angel, and you get those moments in your life where you're really lucky to be around that person.
So you don't actually see much of what's going on in the rest of the world. You don't see much what's going outside of your life. Was that intentional?
You know, I had written down and have notes on all the backstory, where the creatures come from, how everyone survived or didn't survive. But I thought that you can't get ahead of the family. So the family doesn't really know what's going on, so you have to be with them. And so I made the conscious decision that if you don't really know anything unless the father or the wall or these other little clues give them to you, then that's what's in their world. And so you're with the family a lot more, and it's a better storytelling device. This movie has changed my life in every single way, not just my career, but my life. There's something about this that, I don't know, I've never given my total self everything I had to something before, and I don't mean that to say that I've been lazy up until now, though it probably sounds like that. But there was something extremely personal about this movie, and I remember I said to my wife, she said, how do you feel? And I said, I don't think it'll ever be like this again. And my wife, who's a brilliant sage, said, of course it won't. This is something special, and we did it together, and there was something about it that was for your daughters, and so you just put it on the mantle, and you go do something else. That'll always be that special thing we had, and I just thought, who are you? This is so smart.